you have a T-Rex?
Are we doing Star Wars this week?
No! Not doing Star Wars this week.
I thought it was Chewbacca.
That's quite good. Wow.
Very good. It's very good.
But no, it's not Chewbacca. Although apparently they both had fur. Feathers. What?
I'm just picturing Chewbacca with feathers now, and it's horrendous.
He just bristles up every time he gets angry.
Yeah, like Steppenwolf.
Yeah.
Well, then what's how they meant to sound? Rawr. It's still Chewbacca. Oh no, what have we done?
What do the velociraptors do? It's like that kind of cough.
We're going to offend our audience. We're so sorry. Let's get stuck into this properly. We're the Trailer Island podcast. We compare films and their trailers. Did the film deliver what the trailer promised? I'm Alex, and as always, I'm joined by
Steve.
And am I allowed to talk?
Yes.
Are you sure?
After last time.
Well, look, we know, Matthew, that you have an issue when you are really passionate about the film. You are the only person who ends up talking.
I know, and I'm sorry. I just a little disclaimer, and I wasn't the one that suggested doing this movie, but this is also one of my favorite films of all time. So you two have permission to cut me off whenever you want.
I also want to bring up the fact that when we do a movie that you're not interested in, you won't shut up.
So it's just all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Yes.
I'm Matthew. For those
Oh,
who,
yeah,
if
yeah.
anyone hasn't heard before,
What is Matthew translated to in dinosaur?
In Dilophosaurus, it's actually just a stain against a window.
That's correct. Yes, the little frilly neck
Isn't that
comes up,
Dilophosaur, isn't it?
Dilophosaurus.
makes it a beautiful yet dangerous addition to Jurassic Park.
He's already gone,
Oh,
guys.
I'm
He's
sorry.
already
What have we
gone.
done?
I watched this.
already
I watched this
gone.
movie recently with a mate of mine, and we did a drinking game to it, and I could actually quote the whole film even when drunk.
Jeez.
This film is ingrained in my very soul.
I don't know if I would like to watch you do that or not like to watch you do that.
The answer's probably not. It can be intimidating
Okay.
because I do the voices as well.
Well, aren't you a clever girl?
Spared no expense.
There.
All right, it's a 5 from me. See you later.
If you dare to look it up, there is a parody that I did on YouTube of the Jurassic
Yeah,
Park.
you've told me about this. Yes.
Yeah, one day I may show it to you.
Oh, okay, I'd like that.
I've seen it, and
Yeah.
that's a big pile of shit.
Do we allow that? Because it is a quote from the film. I don't know.
Well, if you are concerned by that language, please let us know, and I'll change the marking on the episode notes.
Oh, Steve.
Yes. Well, it's a PG film, isn't it?
It is a PG film. So
Is that the one sort of tactical swear word they put in the film?
Because they don't drop an F-bomb in there.
No, they definitely don't. No, that'd be very unlike Steven Spielberg to do that in a film like this. But no, they do drop the S word a couple of times.
Okay.
But no, it's funny really. When I always grew up with this film thinking that it was like an M kind of thing. Like it's scary. As a kid, it's terrifying. And then I one day, I guess I just never paid attention to what its rating was, and one day noticed and thought, wait, this is PG? How did they get away with that?
Well, Steven Spielberg, he's known for giving a childlike wonder and fear in
Yeah.
his films, isn't he? And he
That's
does
right.
it exceptionally well.
He does.
Seeing as you love the movie so much, Steve, would you like to...
No, please, because I'll do
yeah.
some like long thing otherwise.
This week we're doing Chris Hemsworth's Black Hat. Oh, no, sorry, Jurassic Park.
The first discovery was made in the spring of 1990. From a mine in South America came a piece of amber containing the fossilized remains of a prehistoric mosquito, one of many that had fed upon the blood of dinosaurs. From the DNA in that blood, science was able to recreate those giants. And for the first time, man and dinosaur shared the earth. It happened at a place called Jurassic Park. This summer, director Steven Spielberg will take you there.
1992 was a very different place, wasn't it?
It was, and it's funny really because if you showed me that trailer now, I would not want to watch that movie.
FYI, that's the teaser.
Yes.
Yeah, so we made an active choice not to show the trailer for this because it was this is the teaser. This is the first bite
Yeah.
of this what would become a phenomenon.
And I suppose unless you were a fan of a book and were keeping an ear to the ground at the time as to whether or not they were making a movie, imagine you were sitting in a cinema and then that just comes on and you go, what the hell is this? Bringing dinosaurs back to life?
Well, the first 30, 40 seconds or so of that, all you can hear is the grinding and knocking of something.
Yeah,
And
which-
what you can see in that teaser, because it's just noise, is that they're in a mine of sorts and if they're looking for amber and using pickaxes
Yeah.
to, jab at the wall, not the best technique.
No.
What's funny about that is they're using a really delicate method to get the amber out of the wall. They get the amber out of the wall and then they pickaxe it right in the middle of the amber.
To snap it in half?
I think
Yeah.
grind it with a angle grinder or something.
Yeah.
that is a very haphazard approach to what is probably a 1 in a billion find.
It is. And also, there is not a single shot in that trailer that is from the movie.
Yeah.
Which is a technique. Like Steven Spielberg did the same thing when he made War of the Worlds. The first teaser trailer was just this crane shot of this glowing behind the hills in a suburban town, and it comes down, and that was basically it. Not in the movie. What I find very amusing about this is that Jurassic Park is quite well shot. Cinematography is pretty good in that film. For that trailer, we have like TV quality cinematography when they're digging, and it looks cheap and tacky. It's not the best way to sell your movie.
It's like the first check from the company hadn't come through yet on actually making the film. But they would have been well and truly through principal photography at that point.
I would have thought so.
Sure. I wonder what the time difference was between that coming out and the actual trailer. Because that and the actual trailer, you go, ooh, this is different. This is cool.
So the three of us have a mutual friend who was in the cinema to witness this trailer get played for the first time. And he remembers himself included.
He's old now, by the way.
he remember, and he's a Spielberg fan, and obviously you don't know that that's a Spielberg film until the very end when they say from Steven Spielberg. People were laughing allegedly in the cinema,
Yeah, right.
because they thought that this is ridiculous. This looks stupid.
That voiceover guy is, I mean, if
he finds a block of amber.
containing the DNA of dinosaurs.
It is funny. It is funny,
Yeah.
and I'd never seen that until just today when we were gonna do this, and we decided on that trailer, and I can't believe that is tied in any way whatsoever to the actual movie.
Well, it came out in what?
The film,
Yeah.
93.
93. Oh, you know what this means.
Oh yes.
Now,
yes,
when
yes.
we have a film that's a couple of years old, we have a magical tugboat. It's called the Time Tug, and it brings back films from a long, long time ago. So let's bring out the tugboat. Yep, Time Tug, out you come, mate. Oh, thank you. Yep, bring out the tug. Good.
Matt, you're a troglodyte.
Oh, thank you, Captain. That's the captain, everybody. He's the captain of the Time Tug.
I think the captain's a bigger fan of The Lost World.
I actually do like that film, but having said that, I like all of them apart from the 2015 film. I even like Fallen Kingdom, but I won't get into that.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will.
I'm not.
This is a hard film to talk about because you're talking about something that was childhood.
That's
for so many people.
right.
It is almost the pinnacle example of a childhood film for so many people.
This film gave me nightmares.
Yeah.
Like that kitchen sequence where the velociraptors are chasing the kids. Nightmares for years.
I don't
after
think
seeing
I was
that.
allowed to watch this film for until I was like 11 or 12.
Yeah, because I would have seen this, and Mum and Dad, if you are listening, like, don't feel bad. I'm over it now. But I must have seen this when I was like 6 or 7 or something like that, or even younger. I mean, I was still in the UK, and I didn't move from the UK till I was 7, so I must have been younger than that. And I do remember being absolutely petrified of the velociraptors, which is actually one of the reasons I don't like the 2015 film, is because the velociraptors aren't scary in that movie, which bugged me. Anyway, you're right. It's hard to talk about because it's just got so much nostalgia around it, and it's, you always look very fondly on. This movie has massive issues, but I think we choose to ignore them.
What?
No, please go on.
Well, no,
I'm
if
surprised by
you have
this.
massive issues with it, like there's sometimes you get to the point where you're just like, I'm just not like I don't even think or can concern
Yeah.
myself with problems. But Matthew,
Well, that's
you're
it.
accusing.
No, I am. Yes, of course I am. I choose to ignore them, but like there's no character development in this film at all.
What?
What character development is there?
Dr. Grant.
How does he develop?
At the beginning of the movie, he explicitly says, and it's pretty on the nose, I hate kids. I'm going to kill them. And by the end of the movie...
say he's going to kill them.
And by the end of the film, he's best friends with 2 young children, which sounds odd, but he is.
Okay, okay. But in terms of overarching character moments, that's all he's got.
Hammond, okay? He's like, look at this park, look at this scientific marvel. And then by the end of the film, I don't endorse your part. Oh, neither do I.
Yeah, but I feel like he's not strong enough. He doesn't do anything.
No, you're wrong about this.
But there are dinosaurs.
Well, it's funny, really. It would have been a couple of years ago. I was talking to a friend of mine, and she loves this franchise, and she was commenting on how toxic the Star Wars fandom's become.
Yeah.
And she's going like, the Star Wars fandom, there was like that, but then the Jurassic Park fandom says, oh look, we got dinosaurs. We don't really care. We just love the movies anyway, which is kind of cool.
I'm very surprised. That
I think this movie is it falls over pretty easily.
Okay,
if you analyze it, I mean,
I'm not sold on this. Please continue.
And again, this is nitpicking, and I choose to ignore it when I'm watching the movie. But there's that bit where John Hammond, the head of InGen Sciences, takes them on that tour, and they get into a little cinema room, and he has that thing where he talks to the screen version of himself. How many tours do you think they're going to do per day? And does he plan to be there for the rest of his life to do that in front of everyone that comes through?
I'm sure that was for the corporate events where he's required to show off.
No.
Proof of concept.
Yes, no, of course. This is only a temporary score. Well,
Yeah.
Very dramatic. Rum, bum,
Yeah.
bum, bum. It haven't been written yet. And then the tour moves on. Anyway.
So if he brings up points, we just let him talk, and he talks himself out of the points.
What is it about? We should have put locks on the doors, or
How many times we needed locking mechanisms on the vehicle doors?
That exists already.
I don't know if we should release this episode.
No, I'm continue. I want to know what else is bad about this film.
No, I'm going to stop because I
No,
think
please.
you are right. It's not as bad as I'm insinuating, but I do think my point is that the movie is not as perfect as I think I like to think it is.
Okay, this is interesting.
Is my point. I love the movie, and I will never say anything, well, other than just then, I'll never say anything bad about it because I don't care if there's any plot holes or if you, like, there's a bit in the helicopter where they're flying to Isla Nublar and you can see the top of the projection screen out the window.
Jesus Christ.
Which is quite funny.
You're not supposed to be looking at it. You're supposed to be listening to John Williams' score.
I have watched this film so many times.
You can see the strings on the helicopter.
I do really enjoy that bit where they're in the helicopter and Alan Grant has to do his seatbelt up and it's 2 female ends of the seatbelt. Yeah. And obviously they don't go together because you need the male end and the female end for a seatbelt.
Yes.
And then he ties it together because life finds a way, and that's a metaphor for the dinosaurs who are all female, but because of the frog DNA. It's because of the frog DNA. They can change their sex in a single sex environment and therefore mate. And so you cannot contain nature. It will expand. You can't control it.
Has anyone read the book?
I have.
The book is excellent.
It's very violent.
It's very violent.
It's not a
very
kid's
good.
book, but
It's
it is
very
good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. John Hammond is a much more nasty character in that book.
And he dies in the book.
He does die, and so does Ian Malcolm.
No, he lives.
No, he dies, but then he comes back in the next book because, and this is a fact, you can Google this, he dies in the book, but Steven Spielberg liked working with Jeff Goldblum so much that he convinced Michael Crichton to write a sequel book and bring Ian Malcolm back to life so they could put him in the second film.
I was not aware.
Yeah, so that second book was only written after the first movie was made.
And the Lost World book is also very good.
It is. It's great. Yeah.
Very different.
And is the second film the same as the book, or is it a
Very,
different?
very different.
Very
The
different.
premise is more or less
Yeah.
the same, but the plot goes in wildly different directions.
It does, yeah.
Right.
It's again, the books are much nastier than
Am
the
I
film.
right in saying that in the book there's no hunting party? It's literally just Ian Malcolm's group.
Yes.
And they're sort of trying to figure things out on the.
That's right. From my
Isla
memory,
Nublar.
it has been about 10 years since I've read it. I feel like the villainous company characters were already embedded within their group,
Right.
As opposed to the 2 dueling factions that are seen in the film.
Yeah.
I think I'm right in that. Yeah.
I have a memory of Jurassic Park is that I didn't, whether it gave me anxiety, I'm not sure, but the whole thing about how they have, where Laura Dern's character has to go and turn the power back on.
Oh my God.
Yeah. That's such a horror scene.
And
isn't
like
it?
as a kid, you're like I just have memories of this is the bit of the movie I do not like.
but again, you can understand why I was petrified of the velociraptors.
Yeah.
The way that they jump out at everyone and it's terrifying. But great animatronic work from Stan Winston. Like they're all robots and men in suits and that. The thing, I don't know the exact statistic. This film is known for its groundbreaking CGI work, but I think there's something like 6 or 7 minutes of CGI in its entire runtime. Like there's very little. The rest of it. One of my favorite stories from this film is in the big T-Rex attack. Stan Winston, who he championed animatronic stuff for films like he did the Terminator machine, all that kind of stuff. He created this big T-Rex robot for this. It was only like from the shoulders, the torso up basically, and it couldn't really move. It just the head would do stuff. And he said to Stephen, "Cool, it's done. Just make sure it doesn't get wet. It can't get wet." And then he turns up on set and, it's in this torrential downpour and the whole thing's like shaking because it's malfunctioning and everything. It's just like...
Well, there was some of that is that like it would be turned off, but because of malfunctions or whatever, it would suddenly move.
That's right, yeah.
Without anyone controlling it, and it would just do stuff.
Which is terrifying to think about. Because this thing's pretty big. Like, it was life-size.
Matt likes a film when he starts... telling stories about the film. And
I wasn't there, obviously.
And he tells the stories like he's there.
I wish I was there.
He turned to you, Alex, and he's like, Stan Winston, you know Stan.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah.
He told Spielberg, Steve.
Yeah. As I call him, as I refer to him, Steve, mate.
Young Richard, when he was on set, they got hit by a hurricane. And you know the shots of the weather where the hurricane hits? That's an actual hurricane. They'd send a camera
I call
crew
him
out.
Addy.
Old Addy. Everyone else was going into shelters, and Stephen saw old Richard just walking around quite calm and said, "What's wrong?" And Richard said, "I lived through the London Blitz. This is nothing."
Have you seen Jeff anywhere? Let's go.
It's chaos theory. That's chaos theory.
Matt, I just want to say we appreciate you.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah.
Thank you for accepting me with all my flaws.
Oh, yes.
Richard Attenborough, brother of
David.
David Attenborough.
Of course.
Richard passed away not too long ago.
2016, I think, unfortunately.
Did he ever make it into any of the Jurassic World?
There's a statue of him in Jurassic World, but he doesn't appear in, and I think there's a photo or a painting of him in Fallen Kingdom.
And he's in Lost World, correct?
He's in Lost World, yes. Yes, I wish there was more of him in Lost World, actually, because I do like his more conservative attitude where he's gone from... what's Jeff Goldblum's line in that? Something like, you've gone from capitalist to naturalist in just 4 years.
Yeah.
That's something.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the sequel. We'll do that on another episode.
Yeah. How good is that scene when they're being chased by the T-Rex and they're in the truck, and you see in the mirror objects in the mirror are closer than they appear.
Yeah, it's great.
There's so many little things that...
It's iconic. And again, it's a movie that actively reminds you of what movie you're watching frequently, because you see the Jurassic Park logo on everything.
Yeah.
So there's never any... I think that's... Yeah, it's never any... I've always wanted a Ford Explorer. I know that they'd be so... I mean, there was a 92 model probably, so... But the one with like the green and yellow paintwork, that I always thought they looked fantastic, those cars.
Do you think we have this, like we talked about before, about how Spielberg has that, who nails that childlike wonder and horror. And I mean, in this, you're putting two kids. I mean, who are the title characters? I mean, it's almost like it's a group of them, isn't it? Like
It is.
I guess Alan Grant is probably, Sam Neill is probably the lead. Laura Dern is his scientific partner in this. Are they romantic partners?
They are.
That they are, yes.
They are.
Yeah.
And you got the two young kids as well, and then Jeff Goldblum's character.
And the blood-sucking lawyer.
And the blood-sucking lawyer.
Donald Gennaro. I don't know why I remember his name. But
Who does a great thing where he looks up the camera and just before he's eating, adjusts his tie.
Yeah, that's
You know,
right.
just got to, and Samuel L. Jackson.
yeah.
I literally forget that he's in this film, but he's so good in it as well. His name's not on any posters. It's never like advertises him being in this film, but he is.
Now, who's
And,
the gentleman plays Dennis Nedry?
Newman.
Yeah, I don't know the actor's name. I
his
thought
name.
you're a Seinfeld fiend.
Oh, I couldn't tell you.
Does anyone want anything from the vending machine? Because I've had only sweets and I thought I might get something salty. It's another line.
He's such a good character, though.
He's a great character.
He's such a slimy.
Don't get cheap on me, Donson. That was Hannah's mistake.
Doesn't see.
We got Donson here. Nobody
Who
cares.
cares? Nice hat.
What are you trying to look like, a secret agent?
And I remember like the whole sequence of him having the shaving cream. I'm like, oh man,
Yeah.
how sneaky is that?
That's some spy stuff, right?
Oh, wow. And then he gets done by a Dilophosaur.
Yeah.
Dilophosaurus.
Dilophosaurus. And you think, oh, how cool is that?
Like, great puppetry. Terrific puppetry.
Not based in science whatsoever.
No, I do get quite, and I'm not in the sense that I'd ever go
Wayne
on.
Knight.
Wait, no.
No, that's right. He is good in the film. I would never go online and complain about this. Obviously, it's just they make it expressly clear that they've altered the DNA of the dinosaurs to bring them back to life. So the whole kind of, I feel like that was them just giving themselves a get out of jail free card. Like, they're not accurate dinosaurs. So just enjoy the movie.
I know, but I like.
They do give the Velociraptors feathers in Jurassic Park 3.
I know. I like dinosaurs though, and so it's fascinating to see that even back in the 90s, like around the period of this film, they knew that most dinosaurs had feathers,
Right.
and yet they chose
probably
not
couldn't.
to.
Yeah, but they probably couldn't render it with CGI at the
They
time.
probably couldn't, yeah, and they probably couldn't really waste time on getting the feathers sort of put into the animatronics as well.
Yeah, it's like, let's just get this right with this stuff. But I mean, that reminds me, like, how good is when we see the dinosaurs, like the whole reveal when
The
when
Brachiosaurus, I think it is. The
Brachio-
first one?
Brontosaurus?
Brontosaurus? I'm not sure which one it is.
Pachycephalosaurus, I think you mean.
It's a great scene.
Yeah,
It's-
anyway, so-
and John Williams' score.
and like that whole reveal, the character reveal of like this shock and awe of looking and seeing these dinosaurs for the first time, and just how that's translated on film is just done seamlessly. Like,
is.
You don't worry about the CGI in that because it looks perfectly fine.
It does. I mean, you can tell this movie was shot in 1992 and came out in 93, but it does hold up remarkably well.
There's a scene just before that has, since I've first watched the movie, has always irked me. And that's when Dr. Ellie Sadler's looking at that leaf. And
Oh,
she's
yeah.
like, this shouldn't be here. It should be extinct. And we never really get into whether the scientists at InGen have been restoring old plants as well.
Well, I think they do because when they're having their lunch, Chilean sea bass, I believe, she has that. I have no shame. I am just enjoying being able to prove how much I know this film. She has that line about, you guys have plants in this building that are poisonous, but you pick them because they look good. So I think they have been making plants for food for the dinosaurs and also for just the way they look.
Yeah, which I don't know. I just feel like that needed an additional line.
That's fair. Yeah.
And I don't know why it irked me. It always had irked me.
No, that's more than fair.
Well, I
enough.
would suggest that they were just trying to focus on the dinosaurs in the film. And
Yeah.
maybe they'll make a film just for you, Steve, where the plants go wild.
They can restore some of those mosquitoes that have been blood sucking out of the plant.
I'm pretty sure that's called Attack of the Triffids or Day of the Triffids.
Day
I
of the
think.
Triffids
Yeah.
is what you're thinking of. Yeah, but I don't think that dinosaurs ever had to fight highly aggressive plant life.
It's just like me
that
just
we
trying to
know
do
of.
my gardening.
Yes.
I mentioned him just briefly before, but I think John Williams is, just a master. But I do think this is one of his best scores, alongside perhaps
What?
E.T.
What had he scored before this?
He would have done
Star Wars.
Yep.
Fiddler on the Roof. He did that.
Yep.
That was one of his first things. Then he would have done
Indiana Jones?
Indiana Jones.
Yep.
E.T. What else had Spielberg? He'd basically done anything that Spielberg had made up until that point.
So he wasn't exactly obscure.
Oh God, no.
By
He,
this
he,
point.
I reckon in the 90s, John Williams was at his peak. He was about to go in to do Phantom Menace in 1999, which we all know has just say what you will about Phantom Menace, but the score is flawless. And I think the 90s was a good decade for John Williams. What are you laughing at?
John, you remember John? He was contracted for work in 1999. You remember that, don't you?
I spoke to John about his time on Phantom Menace. He remembers it fondly.
God, I miss Wilbur.
No, you're right. No, the score was always. I mean, has John Williams ever done a bad score?
Oh, I mean, I could never do any better. I feel like there is a film that was done recently where I felt like he was not a bad score, but just it was superfluous because it was a drama. I think it was The Post.
Yeah.
And
no, you're
again,
right.
it's not
Yeah.
a bad score. It's just that film doesn't require much music. And John Williams is someone you really need to just let off the leash and just say, go do what you do, And
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? We think about this film, and probably in the top 5 things that you think about this film, possibly the top 3 is the score.
Yeah, it's terrific.
And it's not something that you can say for a lot of film where you go, that is one of the key things that I have as a memory.
Yeah.
You have, the concept of seeing dinosaurs. You have the concept of the CGI that was groundbreaking at the time. And then you have, you remember the music in that movie, which, and we have that thought of a lot of films where we think, how amazing was the music of this? But this is truly one of the examples. You only need to hear 3 seconds of that.
Yeah.
And you're like, Jurassic Park. Straight away.
Exactly.
No question asked.
It's, but I think it's incredible for John Williams to have been able to have done that. I would suggest, not being an expert film composer, but I would suggest that you would have that moment perhaps once or twice in your career. But he's done it repetitively.
Yeah.
Like, think of how many complex themes are in Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
And they're all memorable.
Yeah.
And then he goes, Indiana Jones, memorable themes. Even Marion's theme in Raiders of the Lost Ark is a terrific theme. The man is just a legend. I can't believe he's got away with just doing this. What a job.
Can we be critical of anything in Jurassic Park that you haven't discussed already?
I really enjoy the Robert Muldoon character, the Ranger, because he's potentially the only one who's working for InGen, who even at the very beginning of the movie is going, this is all going to end in tears. Because his entrance at the beginning where they're shipping the animals into their enclosures, he's standing there with his shotgun and you can just tell he's not happy that he's doing this. He'll take the money, but he doesn't approve of what's going on.
I mean, I might say that Laura Dern is wasted. I think Ellie Sadler gets a lot more to do in the book, and Laura Dern in this film is a pretty big highlight for someone who doesn't have as many lines as Dr. Ian Malcolm.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's funny, when they made Jurassic Park 3, and obviously that was exciting because Sam Neill came back because he obviously skipped The Lost World. They do have Laura Dern in Jurassic Park 3, but she's in 1 or 2 scenes. Why didn't she go with him? That would be great.
She's a housewife in that.
I know,
that's ridiculous.
But write the character differently.
That's what I mean. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a disservice to her to be a housewife in that movie.
Sorry, I agree with you. We are agreeing with each other. I understand.
Don't be yelling at me.
I'm sorry, but yeah, I was always disappointed that they thought, here's a great female character that went on this first journey, so she's met these creatures before. I know we're talking about a different Jurassic Park film now, but yeah, they wasted her in that movie.
What I love about her in Jurassic Park, though, is that she's not helpless.
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
She's a very strong character. If anything, she's probably more capable than Sam Neill's character in a way that she's quite proactive in getting stuff done. He sort of reacts to things, and because he has to sort of come across, he climbs over a fence at one point and fits a dad joke in there.
Yeah. Yes, which is still great.
And then I guess sorry, I've just had something come into my head.
Oh no.
That I need explained to me.
Okay, I can help. We will both help.
How was the T-Rex standing on the other side of the fence?
Oh, see, now I was hoping no one would bring this up.
And then the car gets thrown over and it's a cliff.
Yeah. I think you've just acknowledged, and I didn't want to bring it up myself, one of the biggest continuity errors in blockbuster history. No. Where was it standing? There's a cliff there with a giant tree. How did it step over the fence? The car goes through the gap where the fence is broken. Therefore, it's the same gap that the T-Rex comes in from.
I don't have an answer for you.
No, neither do I. And this is what keeps me awake at night, is how could they overlook that?
My only theory is that there is obviously the little ravine there you might see with a lion pen or something like that, okay? And the T-Rex, much like other dinosaurs, can jump to the ledge.
I will admit, there are a couple of shots where I think, so you've got, I'm using hand gestures, this is an audio
medium.
You got the little Hot Wheels out as well.
Yeah, I was, and then the car does this, and then it blows up. No, so you got let's say you got the fence running in a straight line, and then you got the empty cliff on the other side, and I think there is a bit of a ledge there that it could perhaps stand on. But I think they made a mistake of not having a shot that shows that. If you slow the movie down, which I have done, I think you can. I think you can actually see there is a bit of a ledge that's coming out from the fence line, and that's probably where because the goat was there as well. When it has the goat come up. But yeah,
I just want everyone to know that Matt's currently having his Pepe Sylvia moment right now.
I don't understand that reference.
If you haven't seen it, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. You won't.
Oh, I know what you're saying. Yes.
Silva, yeah.
Yes. No, I get it now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what you're getting, which means a lot of our audiences are going to get.
So
what
you know,
I disagree.
You know the bloke who has got all the papers up on the wall and he's got like a cigarette and he's clearly been staying up like trying to figure out this conspiracy.
You're referring to the meme.
Yeah.
Okay.
That.
Pepe Silva. Pepe Silva, yeah.
And I've run out of red string.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
I'll show you Pepe Silva later on.
niche. Maybe I'll put it in the show notes. I'll just link to an
Just
image.
a picture, yeah.
Okay.
Put my face on it. What else can I say about this movie?
No.
I've always loved the vehicles. But
You've said that.
I know, but I didn't reference the Jeep Wranglers. I only referenced the Ford Explorers.
Oh God.
No, the way the design of this movie is just so good. It's lovely. I can tell. I'm going to be quiet now.
No. It's perfectly fine. It's your passion invokes our passion and belief in your whatever it is you're doing over there.
This is my life.
Is that another quote from the movie?
Could have been. Yeah. Life does find a way.
What's the line about dinosaurs inherit the earth, something rather, and women inherit the earth?
God creates dinosaurs. God destroys dinosaurs. God creates man. Man creates dinosaurs. Man destroys God. Dinosaurs eat man. Women inherit the earth.
Jesus Christ.
And then they all do a slow turn to look at her.
I'm a little bit aroused.
And she does that staring out the window without sort of talking to anyone, doesn't she?
That's right, yeah. It's actually quite a funny moment.
Turn and
I also like how you got Timmy, the kid, who's a huge fan of Alan Grant, who doesn't like kids at the beginning of the film, who's got Alan Grant's book. And as he's walking along, he's trying to tell him about this other doctor's book. He's like, yeah, but his book was so much thicker than yours. Yours was fully illustrated, honey. Just like this tiny book. So anyway, just a little deep cut there for you.
Can we rate this now?
I think that would be a good idea. Can you rate this film? Is this film rateable?
It's a 5 from me, so
okay, great.
Talk amongst yourselves.
No. I think you need to wrap up your emotions in this because you've had half an hour to discuss it. I feel like you should be able to succinctly put together this in a sentence. And I'm not going to let you go first. I'm not going to let you go second. In fact, I'm not going to let you go at all. No, you can wrap this up.
Okay.
And Steve, why don't you go first?
It's going to be surprise. It's going to be a 5 for me.
A sigh of relief came across Matthew's face.
It is. It's just a wonderful movie to come back to every now and again because it's homely. Mm-hmm. It's homely. It's something you can look at and you can track your own little personal development from being this scared little kid who's afraid of dinosaurs in this movie that the adults won't let you watch, to watching the movie as a teenager and being sucked up by all the great moments of humor and acting by the cast, to being now are we middle-aged adults?
Oh, speak for yourself.
To being out of the prime demographic and really appreciating this for the adolescent experience that it was.
Sure.
Everything about it is just gorgeous and beautiful.
Very nice.
5. I'll go 5 as well. But I will say this about it, is that I don't think that kids who will be the demographic now, who were the same demographic back then, will appreciate it in the same light. Do you think that?
They've kind of seen the whole kind of
they
wizardry already.
They might have experienced a lot of other things already to this point where you show them this film and it's just another action film.
I think maybe Jurassic World is a detriment to it a little bit.
So ideally...
I think Jurassic World is a detriment to cinema.
There's also that. You know what I mean?
I do get what you mean.
What I'm trying to say there?
It's much like, the first time I saw Terminator 2. Like nowadays, the effects in that are pretty rudimentary. But at the time, I'd never seen anything like that before, and it was incredible.
So I'm curious to find out or discover, if anyone wants to let us know, whether it has the same effect that it did when it was first released. We can... I guess to that effect, we can talk about when we see films like we did Rear Window at one point, and that still had the same effect. Or like we felt those emotions that I'm sure people felt back then.
Yeah.
To some extent. So I'm hoping that it has that relevance along the lines. You know, you think of all those films like 2001: A Space Odyssey and Close Encounters, those sort of films, Jaws.
I think so. I mean, I watched Star Wars the first time when I was 15.
Oh, of course, Star Wars.
Right.
I mean, that's 1977.
But
yeah.
at that time, we were getting prequel films. And
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't aware of any backlash or anything like that.
Well, at the time, there wasn't any.
Yeah.
Until much later.
But, you know, watching A New Hope, the space battle at the end was phenomenal. You know, and that's a movie from the 70s. But as a 15-year-old in the mid-noughties, I'm still being blown away by this ancient technology bringing this space battle to life.
Yeah.
I still think there's still a place for Jurassic Park.
I reckon I saw the re-releases of the original Star Wars films was that in the 90s that
I
they
think it
were
was
released?
97.
97.
Yeah, when they were re-released and I saw them in the cinemas. And it was my cousin who took me to see those films because he's obsessed with it at the time. He's a little bit older than I am. And what was my emotion out of that? I think it was, I watched it, I saw it, and I was like, okay, this is cool. This is cool. All right. I wasn't like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. Because by then we'd had films like Jurassic Park and so on. I do remember walking back to the car and I was trying to make the traffic lights change with my mind.
Nice.
You know?
Nice.
Yeah.
So it obviously has that sort of effect. But at the same time, when The Phantom Menace came out, I loved that movie. When it came out, I thought I saw it in the cinema a few times. I was like, this is fantastic.
I think I might have touched on this before, and I know we're a little off topic, but in terms of like nostalgia and looking back, I know when I was a kid, I loved Phantom Menace, like loved it. And then when I was in my mid-teens, I definitely turned around and thought, no, everyone on the internet is right. This movie's terrible. But then I kind of came back and calmed down a little bit and realized, no, my legitimate emotional reaction to that movie is that I love it. And I've now accepted that and have no shame in saying I like Phantom Menace. But I think, like you say, Alex, with kids today, I think we have that benefit of, again, the nostalgia. And like you say, Steve, you remember back to when you first saw it. And I think that it's not a detriment to the film, but it counts for a lot. Alex, you have a child now. I would suggest getting Ellie to watch this as soon as possible so that she has that sense of wonder.
Jurassic
and fear.
Park?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, yeah, sure, no worries.
Yeah.
We limit her current TV viewing to 0 hours a day. So I'm going to throw her first film experience in with Jurassic Park.
You know, I've sometimes wondered if someone who had never seen any cinema suddenly sat down and was shown Fellowship of the Ring, what their reaction would be. Because there were scary bits in that film. There were incredibly spectacular bits in that movie. Would they... I don't know how you'd react to that. Like, if you have no concept of how a movie is made... I
also think we can't speak to this as well. Because I think kids these days are growing up in a really different world. I think they're living in the world of memes.
Yeah.
Well, everybody's living in this world of saturation, where you can access anything and everything anytime you want.
Not just
a little bit of
saturation,
everything all of the time.
Not just saturation, but saturation as well. Like I'm sure people are seeing absurd memes about Jurassic Park, having never seen the film.
Oh yeah, you know?
And they're seeing it through this lens of it being made fun of for the right reasons, of course. But
you're worried that when they then see the film... You know, it's much like the do it meme from Revenge of the Sith, which is Palpatine going, do it. If people... And that is a funny meme, but I feel like people who maybe see the meme before they've ever seen Revenge of the Sith, when that scene comes along, which is in the moment a very serious moment... We'll just laugh because of the meme. And I think, again, like, are we in danger of ruining these moments through... just the cultural.
I don't think any of us can speak to it. I think
no, you're probably right.
If we sat down with a 15-year-old and said, "Well, what do you think of that? Think of these culturally sort of significant things," we would get a completely different answer to what we would be asked in their position back when.
So my child is just over 1. Now
I would suggest waiting. I was probably 5 and I had nightmares, so maybe 4 would be ideal. No, I don't do that. It's a horrible idea.
I'm thinking maybe 6 or 7.
Yeah, I think 7. Yeah, towards
roughly.
8. I would suggest
I was thinking 10.
What?
I was thinking 10. Because there's some genuinely really scary bits.
I just don't want to have to wait that long.
Samuel L. Jackson loses his arm.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. you see that like plop on a shoulder.
I mean, you see the guy, the blood-sucking vampire lawyer, get eaten just on screen. There he is.
No, they don't shy away from much.
Jeff Goldblum's chest is going to inspire some really confusing feelings.
Well, it is what it is. So
Yeah.
That's right.
not many people can resist that, put it that way.
Sure.
It wasn't in the script, actually. He just was lying like that on set and they shot it.
Now, we've given our rating, haven't we?
I haven't given mine.
Oh, okay, Matthew, please wrap it up for us right now.
It's a 5 from me. No surprises. And I think I'll just sign off on my little my obsessions by just saying like this is one of those movies to me, and I've always touched on a few of the others in my childhood that just it's like a warm hug every time I go back. If I ever, I think Lord of the Rings and Star Wars are the same. It's always there, like a comforting blanket. I suppose I've never had any, despite me trying to make a point earlier, but quite badly, I don't actually have any issue with this movie whatsoever. I think it's just perfect for what it is, in its entertainment value and the way it looks. And I want one of the full Explorers. So if anyone wants to send one through, that'd be great. It has to be a 92 model. Anyway, love Jurassic Park.
I feel like this has been one of those episodes where, typically we try and keep these episodes around 30 minutes.
I did start by saying you could cut me off at any point.
No, but I feel it's okay every so often. If you have a passion for something, I think it's important that you follow that passion.
I'm going to cry.
And if we allow this once every so often, I think it's good. So we thank you. We thank you for your passion, Matthew.
Well, thank you for letting me off the leash.
Vendetta. Now this movie.
What else have you gone off about?
There have been a few.
Mortal Engines.
I got very passive aggressive about Mortal Engines, but I stand by what I said.
We were poking and prodding. I feel like there's another movie though he went.
Castaway, did you go?
I do like Castaway, but I feel like I was restrained.
You were sharing your mum's passion for that movie, weren't you?
Yeah. I think there is
Blade
one.
Runner was the one.
Oh, yes,
that
Blade
was-
Runner.
that was a massive
Which reminds me,
one.
I do have a few other points. No, I'm kidding.
It genuinely concerns me if we ever decide to do Alien.
Oh my god.
You shouldn't have said that.
Oh
no,
my
look, I'll give you
God.
guys 6 months and then we'll come back to
Oh
that.
my god.
I'll just do that one by myself. It's fine. You get me started, and
Steve, it's funny, like just the sheer mention of it, looking at his eyes, it's just like you see this thing just glowing.
Arousal was.
oh god, yeah.
So the day you at home listening, you see an episode pop up and it says Alien.
I think the day an episode pops up that says "No Time to Die."
Yeah. So at the moment, that's scheduled for September the 30th.
I didn't
in this
ask.
country.
I didn't ask.
No one actually asked what you wanted, Matthew.
All right. Yeah.
Well, what if it's bad?
It could be. I had this discussion with a friend of mine recently because it's been delayed, I think 3 times now, and I'm really looking forward to it. Is this kind of thing of you are aware that the movie might not be good. Like, just be aware that you could have waited all this time for nothing.
Is it going to be Daniel Craig's last one?
It is, yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so we wrapped up. So believe it or not, we were talking about Jurassic Park. And that's wrapped up with a solid 15 out of 15. Oh, he's going to say more. What?
Sorry, I just say it's a product of its time, but that trailer is terrible.
Okay, yes, that is fair enough.
I like that trailer.
Yeah? It gives you intrigue.
It gives me intrigue. It is like I said, product of its time. It's very 90s.
It is very 90s, yes.
Very
it looks
90s.
like one of those 90s anti-piracy videos.
Yeah.
It does. That's what it is.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm done. I'm good.
All right,
good.
well, there you go.
You know there's a new Jurassic Park film coming out next year, right?
Jurassic World.
Jurassic World Dominion, I think it's called.
Indeed, it is.
Is it
Yes,
Chris
it is.
Pratt in it?
It does have Chris Pratt and Sam Neill and Jeff Goldblum and Laura Dern and Bryce Dallas Howard. The
In
whole gang.
like just like cameos, or
No, apparently they're in the whole thing.
You're
Apparently.
being played off.
You think Colin Trevor is lying to us?
No, you're being played off.
It's walk me out. Walk me out.
Sir, please just come with me.
Nurse.
I'd like to leave right now without a fuss. We've been the Trailer Island podcast, and this was, I'm going to say it's mostly Matt, but I feel like we all had a bit to play in
Guest
this episode.
starring.
Guest starring Steve and
I'm
Alex.
sorry.
So yes, we were the Trailer Island podcast. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts from, Google, Apple, Spotify, Deezer, Amazon, everywhere where you find your podcast. And don't forget to give us a rating, give us, a bit of feedback as well. It helps us find an audience. A sneaky 5-star review really goes a long way. And you can send in a request. This is a request by Matthew for himself.
It wasn't. I was so excited when I found out we were going to be doing it. So it was great.
Jesus.
So you can find us wherever you get your podcast. Tell your friends as well. There's an email, contact@trailerisland.com.au. You can visit Twitter, Instagram, Facebook Messenger. If you want to throw us a sneaky little request there, let us know if we're doing a good job, whether Matthew needs to get his own show.
No, I need the support.
mattrants.com.au. I've been Alex. I was joined by...
Matthew.
James Cromwell.
What?
James Cromwell.
Who's James Cromwell? What are you doing?
Good night, everyone.
Was that a good dinosaur?
I think so, but we need locking mechanisms on the vehicle doors.
I want to get out. I want to get out.
This is a Narrative Network podcast.